Chapter 10. Nestled away in the corner booth at the diner in the square, Beth and her friends were having lunch. Same diner, same booth, same food. Never a change. Table littered with empty plates. The smell of ketchup and mustard permeated the surrounding air. Her friends were busy chatting about something. She didn't hear much of it. Twisting a lock of dark brown hair around her fingers, Beth stared out the window. Across the street, a girl with messy blonde dreads and her red-haired male companion were panhandling. The girl, holding a cardboard sign in her hands, would engage passerby. More often than not, the person would drop money into a cup the young man was holding. Laughter erupted around Beth. She wished her friends would be a little more quiet. If only they would just stare at their phones like they always do, and be quiet. Looks like that weird girl from middle school liked your post. Liz glanced up at Kara. Why are you even friends with her? Kara shrugged. I've known her for years. She's not that bad. Liz snickered. Well, you should get rid of her. She's weird, and having her on your friend list makes you look weird too. Looks like Kai posted, interrupted Eli. Oh my god, did he? Squealed Kara. Peering down at the little screen, she scrolled down to read the comment on her most recent selfie. Eli shook his head and teased. Look at you, being all giddy. Sitting beside Beth, Liz was busy using her phone as a mirror to apply her lip gloss. I think Kara has a crush, she teased. She nudged Beth with her elbow. Wouldn't you say so? Huh? Replied Beth. She glanced around the table at her friends. Through the entire conversation, none of them had looked at one another. They were all focused on their phones. Beth wondered, if she stuck her tongue out at them, would they notice? God, where are you today? Asked Liz as she stared at her reflection. Hello, Earth to Beth. She sighed and shook her head. Beth stared back at her. Was she joking? Was she annoyed? Beth could never tell. Liz was a very hard person to read. Of their group, Liz was by far the most popular. She was beautiful with her warm brown skin, hazel eyes, and long wavy hair. She wore the best clothes, and was always at the forefront of the hottest recent trend. Kara was described as Liz's shadow. Slight of frame with dark blonde hair and blue eyes. She copied everything Liz would do. Beth could hardly blame her. There was a time when she too tried to copy Liz, then realized it was impossible. She would never be as cool, confident, or beautiful as Liz. Eli was Beth's longest friend. They had known each other since kindergarten. He was the reason Liz and Kara allowed her to join the group. People used to tease that one day they would get married. They hated when people joked that way. They were best friends. That was all. Besides, as far as Beth could tell, Eli had a huge crush on Liz. Beth shrugged. I don't know. Maybe, I guess. Liz shrugged and shook her head. Sometimes I wonder about you, Beth. Beth turned on her phone and looked up Kara's post. She scrolled through the comments. Some people she knew, others she didn't. All posting emojis or GIFs. Occasionally an adult commented. She scrolled past those. She stopped at a comment by Kai, a popular kid from their school. A simple, single-word post. Cute was all he wrote. She rolled her eyes, opened her own page, and scrolled to her latest post. A selfie she took earlier that day while waiting outside her house for Eli. Not one comment. The only likes were by her mom and aunt. Suddenly a heart emoji followed by a smiley face appeared in the comments. It was from Eli. She peered up to see him grinning at her. Oh great, more drifters. Just what this town needs, scoffed Kara. Beth glanced over to see Kara staring out the window. Her comment had piqued the interest of the others, who were now peering out across the street. The guy looks kinda hot, laughed Liz. I didn't know you were into hobos, Kara teased. Well, if they're hot, Liz giggled. Beth seems enthralled. She's been gawking at them forever. Beth's face grew hot. She scraped her mind for something witty to say in response. Nothing. So which one do you like, Beth? The girl or the guy? Kara asked with a taunting smirk. Beth wanted to reach over and hit her, or at least spill a drink onto her lap. She did neither. She fiddled with her phone, then glanced out the window again. Okay, Beth, said Eli. What's the deal? Looks like they're just another couple of drifters who rode the train into town. Nothing new. You've seen these types before. What gives? Beth shrugged, painfully aware they were all staring at her. I don't know. They seem different, don't they? Like, they're really happy. She looked around at her friends. Eli glanced out the window. I suppose if being homeless, riding trains, sleeping in the dirt, and God only knows what else could be considered being happy. Liz sighed. I will say it again. That guy is pretty hot. Meh, added Kara. I'm not really into gingers. Beth turned her gaze back to the duo outside, hoping this would end the conversation. It did not. Ignoring her friends, she stared at the couple across the street and tried to imagine where they were from, what sort of adventures they've had. She wondered what it was like to be so free. Liz interrupted her thoughts when she shoved her. You in? Confused, Beth looked around at her friends. In what? Liz sighed. We're all going to my house to hang out. Are you coming? Beth didn't want to spend the rest of her afternoon listening to Kara prattle on about herself. She wanted to meet the young strangers. She glanced over at Eli, who shrugged slightly. I think I'm going to wander around the square for a while, then head home. Y'all go have fun. Suit yourself, replied Liz. She climbed out of the booth and paid the check at the counter. Walking out of the heavy wooden doors, the sunlight was warm against Beth's skin. She didn't realize how cold it was in the diner until she walked outside. After saying goodbye to her friends, she watched as they rounded the corner and disappeared. Alone, she turned around and sauntered across the street toward the strangers. Greetings, said the girl with dreads, as Beth approached. Care to contribute to our cause? She was smiling, not the kind of smile you would feel uneasy about. This was a genuine, welcoming smile. Up close, Beth could see how beautiful this strange girl was. Tall, with the frame of a dancer. Her deeply tanned skin made her green eyes stand out like gemstones. A tiny green stone sparkled above her top lip. Beth couldn't help but feel a little jealous. It all depends, said Beth, attempting to sound casual. What exactly is this cause? The blonde traveler smiled. We have some family things we need to take care of in Austin. We could use some cash to help us out. A car rounded the corner and blasted its horn. Hanging out the passenger window, Kara shouted, Bye, Beth. See you tomorrow. Try not to get abducted. Beth cringed. Oh, God, why did she just do that? She thought. She could hear the laughter from the car as it drove around the courthouse and finally disappeared. Hi, Beth. I'm River, the blonde girl said with a smile. Still feeling the sting of embarrassment. I'm sorry about my friends. She didn't mean that. River was unfazed. No worries, she shrugged. Beth, I like that name. She gestured to the young man sitting on the ground nearby. This is my brother, Zach. Zach stood up and moved closer. He said nothing as he looked on with his serious, dark brown eyes. A tiny Texas star tattooed on his right temple. His skin was as bronze as River's, no doubt due to all the time spent outdoors. Tall, broad-shouldered, and muscular, Beth imagined he could be quite intimidating when he wanted to be. She smiled and said hello. An easy, friendly smile crossed his face in reply. So, you gonna contribute? Asked River, one more time, as she wiggled the cup in front of her. Oh, right, said Beth as she dug around in her pockets. She dropped a $5 bill into the container. Noting the band printed on River's t-shirt, she blurted, Oh, I love that band! River handed the cup to Zach. Ever see them live? Beth shook her head. Nah, last time they came through the area we couldn't get tickets. We worked a festival in upstate New York last summer, replied River. We got to see them play from the backstage area. It was cool. Wow, how exciting! The sudden rush of envy came roiling up inside Beth. The way River casually tossed that bit of information out there as if it were a typical thing to experience. Beth wished she could brag about doing those sort of things. Do you do stuff like that often? River shrugged. Sometimes. We have a few friends who do it a lot. From time to time, we join them. It changes things up. Makes life more interesting. Wow, sighed Beth. I bet you have lots of cool stories to tell. River grinned and glanced at Zach, then turned back to Beth. Tell you what, Beth. I'll share some of those stories with you if you walk on over to that pizza place with me and buy us a pizza. She winked. River's candidness shocked her. What? River chuckled. It's simple. You buy us lunch, and we tell you about our travels. It's a tradition. Tradition? Still smiling, River replied. Tradition. Throughout history, whenever travelers came into a village, the locals would feed them and give them a place to rest. In exchange, the travelers would share stories of the places they visited and the things they did along the way. Zach snickered. So, what do you say? Asked River. Want to buy us lunch? Beth looked at Zach, then back at River. Sure, I can. Yes, shouted River. She handed the sign to Zach, then put her arm around Beth's shoulder. Let's go then, shall we? I'm starving. They turned to walk away. Zach did not come along. Instead, he turned and headed toward the courthouse. Where is he going? Asked Beth. He's gonna go hang with our friend until we get back with the pizza, replied River. Beth wondered who that friend might be. She didn't see anyone else nearby. She decided to wait and find out. She had so many questions for River about their travels. Inside the pizza place, waiting for their food, River told Beth about the time she and her friends worked the festival, allowing them to hang around the backstage with the bands. It all sounded so fun, so exciting, so opposite of anything she had ever experienced. She wanted to hear more. How long are you guys going to be in town? Well, that all depends, replied River. 2 of my brothers had a mishap, so we might need to stick around for a day or 2. Know of any good places to spend the night? I do, replied Beth with a little too much enthusiasm. Well, don't hold back. Where is it? At the south end of town, replied Beth. There's a forested area along the river near an old wooden bridge. River nodded slowly. Sounds interesting. Locals call it the Goatman's Bridge. River leaned closer. The who? Its actual name is Old Alton Bridge, continued Beth. Everyone around here refers to it as the Goatman's Bridge. It's pretty secluded. You could camp there. No one would notice. The man behind the counter called out Beth's name. The pizza was ready. As they stepped out onto the sidewalk, River hooked her arm around Beth's. You're gonna have to tell me about this goat man. Come on and meet the guys.